Hello friends! So today I'm going to be doing the Pretty Bookish Secrets book tag. I saw this book tag done by Heather Loves Reading. I guess she's a relatively new booktuber. I just started following her, but I saw that she did this video and it looked like a lot of fun, and there were some answers that I thought of when she read the questions out, so I thought it would be fun for me to film as well. I have all the questions put up here on my phone. If I can find the original video, I will link it down below. I believe it stemmed off of the 7 Deadly Sins book tag. I'm not actually sure, but I'll link everything that I think of in the down bar. Heather's video and the original video, I'll link all the questions so that you guys can get them easily. We'll just get started. So the first question is to, well, a statement or thing is to name 3 books that you haven't read yet that you are ashamed of. So for the 3 books that I chose for this, it's kind of a mix of individual books and series. So the first one that I have here is Mockingjay. I have read The Hunger Games and Catching Fire, but this is the only one left that I have to read. This is a series that my boyfriend and I kind of vowed to read together back my freshman year when the first movie was coming out, and he doesn't have a lot of time to read them, and we like to read them around the same time so that we can watch the movies together. There are 2 films that are going to be, at least, and we both need to read this, and we just haven't gotten around to it yet, but it's kind of probably because both of us feel very similarly about the series. You know, we like it a lot, but don't think that it's necessarily worth the hype. It's not on my favorite shelf, but I did really enjoy the first 2 books. It's been hard for me to like build up the desire to read this last book, but I really want to see the movies, so maybe I'll get around to finally reading this book, but this one I'm definitely ashamed of because I feel like everyone and their mother has read all of this series, so this is one of them. The next book out of the 3 is kind of the rest of a series that I don't own. The Throne of Glass books. I read the first one, but I haven't read Crown of Midnight or Airfire or the Assassin's Blade, the novellas. Hopefully I'll get around to reading them soon, but I just wasn't as in love with the first book as everyone else was. I did really enjoy it. I think I read it in like 2 days, maybe 3 tops, and that was, you know, when I had a lot of stuff going on at school, and I recommended it to my sister, so I did really like it. I just wasn't as in love with it as some other people. The last book out of the 3 is another series, but I'm just going to hold up these 2 here, and that is the Infernal Devices. I'm only showing these 2, Clockwork Prince and Clockwork Princess, because I have read Clockwork Angel already, and I have read the first 3 books of the Mortal Instruments, and I'm in the middle of City of Fallen Angels right now. I have not finished the Shadowhunter World books yet, and I'm ashamed of it, but mostly I'm ashamed that I haven't finished these yet because people say that these are better than the Mortal Instruments. I've only read 1 of these compared to the almost 4 that I read of the Mortal Instruments, so I can't really judge which I think is better just yet. I'm one of the people that actually really liked the Mortal Instruments and has been, you know, very interested in them from the first book. I actually found all the books to be pretty good. I know that some people say it takes 3 books to get into, and a lot of people say that the 4th book is kind of boring because it is kind of the start of the second trilogy, but I actually have been finding it really fun to read. It's a little slow, but I don't mind it because I love the characters and I'm interested in the characters, so it really just depends on how you feel about the series and the characters, and it depends on your tastes. But sorry for rambling about that. But anyway, so I'm showing these because I am ashamed that I haven't finished this series yet, but it is my goal this summer to start finishing some series. I kind of put off finishing series after I read the first or second book because I like to prolong it. The only one that I'm really dreading finishing is this Ruby Circle right here, because I have been reading Vampire Academy since high school, and when I finish Ruby Circle, it's the end of the Vampire Academy world for good, because that's the end of the spin-off. Anyway, rambling. I am reading them in publication order, which is why I've only read 1 of these, and I'm reading City of Fallen Angels, so I'm gonna alternate. Wow, that was 7 minutes on the first question, so hopefully I can answer the next few quickly. The second question is, have you lied about having things to do to keep reading instead of going out? And the short answer to that is yes. I just graduated from college, so being with people is a big deal, and I do like to be with my friends and I like to go out and have fun, but I also like to be by myself, and when I got back into reading in like February, March, I pretty much lied about going out most weekends so I could stay in and keep reading. Not even most weekends, just most any time. I turned down going to lunch, I turned down doing a lot of things so I could stay in and keep reading, which sucked because it was my last semester, so kind of that's why I read kind of slowly towards the end of the semester, because A, I had a lot of work to do, and B, I stopped saying no to going out, but most times, yes, I do lie about going out so I can stay home and read. I do that with my boyfriend all the time. The third question is, do you have any fictional crushes? The answer would be yes, I do. I mean, who doesn't have fictional crushes, you know? If this question had been asked of me a month or so ago, then I would have said, without a doubt, Dmitry Belikov from the Vampire Academy series. He's my all-time favorite. He's my all-time book crush man. But since I started reading the Black Dagger Brotherhood and I read about Sadist, he's on that list now. Pretty much tied with Dmitry, I would say. But they're two different genres. This is adult and that is young adult. So I feel like it's fair for me to have two of them. Obviously I have more than just two, but you know, my number one. Definitely Sadist. Currently. He's wonderful. The next question is, have you ever been jealous of a fictional character? No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, technically, yes, I'm jealous of the girl in this book because, duh, she gets to be a sadist, but that's kind of me being silly. Probably, if there was anybody I would say I'm jealous of in a book, it's definitely Rose Hathaway. She is just so badass. I know a lot of people found her annoying. Even people who liked the series, I have heard, found her annoying. People who didn't like the series definitely found her annoying. I have to separate her from movie Rose because I definitely prefer book Rose. I just feel like Rose is such a strong female character. She's very imperfect, which is something I enjoy. It makes her more relatable and just more real, I guess. She's, you know, the perfect warrior, you know. She's loyal and she's brave and she's strong and smart and clever and cunning, but she's also, you know, really emotional and she doesn't think before she speaks. She's very impulsive and kind of just goes with her heart sometimes, or well, all the time. And I think sometimes all that gets her in trouble, but I find it to make her a very endearing character that is just much easier to love and to relate to. So even though she's this really badass female warrior, she also is just very relatable and very human. So she kind of encompasses all that I wish that I could be. So I would definitely say if I was jealous of any fictional character, it would definitely be Rose because I think she is such a strong protagonist. Next question is, what do you do when you see someone reading a book you like? I don't know that this has ever happened to me, but I imagine, because I'm kind of shy, I imagine I might not say anything to them. It depends on where I see them. If I see them across the room or something, it'd be kind of awkward if I said something, but if I'm standing at the library and someone's like looking through a book that I really like, then I'll say something. It depends on how close the quarters are and where we are, you know, for me to say something. I think now probably I would be more likely to say something to somebody, but I wouldn't go crazy or anything. I would just be like, oh, I love that book, or I hope you're enjoying it, you know, something just really simple like that. Question 6. How many unread books do you have on your shelves? Well, now I have to count the ones that are over there because I want to read them next. Crap, this is going to take me a really long time. I'll count them at the end and then I'll edit this in. But a lot. Last question is, have you bought books because of their covers? Yes and no. Who hasn't? Most books I buy because they have been raved about and I have either already read the first one and loved it, or yeah, that's really why I buy books. For the Mortal Instruments and Infernal Devices series, I bought all of those without having read them yet. Well, I read City of Bones on my Kindle and I liked it. One of the few people who did, apparently. So I bought the entire series and I bought the Infernal Devices. With other books, I usually don't buy the entire series or the book until I know that I like it. Depends how long the series is. Vampire Academy and Bloodlines, those were auto buys because after I read the first two from the library, I knew I was in love with the series. And then when Bloodlines was coming out, I wanted to read them immediately because it was a continuation of the series. For something like Black Dagger Brotherhood, which is a new favorite of mine, I buy them currently as I read them, and that's because I want to know if I like them because it's such a long series. I don't want to buy all of them. So far I've liked them all, so you know, it hasn't really mattered. Eventually I would like to own them all. It just depends on the situation, but I don't typically buy books based on their covers anymore. I buy them either based on the description or recommendations. However, sometimes I will buy an older copy of a book or spend more money on a book when it has multiple covers, like the Jennifer L. Armentrout books, the Lux series, I don't want those bind-ups. I have been buying the old covers. I won't buy them in the bind-ups. I want to buy the original covers. So that's the only time I'd really ever buy a book by its cover, when it has multiple covers and I want a certain one. So this video is probably gonna end up being super, super long, but I have never really made a book video before, so I'm rambling a little bit more about my favorite series and stuff that I like more than I usually would. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope it wasn't too long for you. Post your video responses in the comments, or post in the comments when you post a video. I don't know if you can still post video responses like you could back in the old YouTube days, but I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time. Bye everyone.
The person who created the tag, if I can find it. What on earth? The garbage man has come by 4 times today.